Sun, Moon, Ascended. It's Michelle, your practical priestess here at Divinely Genuine. So we're here to do y'all's tarot reading for Uranus transiting Taurus, which will be from this year, mid-2018, to mid-2025, I believe. I think that I heard there's a retrograde period and it'll be coming back around or something like that. I did not check into that just yet, but so it is like a 7-year transit, 7.5 years, I believe. So yeah, this is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. So if it resonates with your Sun sign or Ascendant or Moon, cool. If not, check out the ones that, like your Ascendant or your Moon as well, Okay, so I've already shuffled the deck, communed with Spirit, blessed it for you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it for you Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants. For the Uranus transiting Taurus. Alright. Oh, and we're doing a planetary spread, okay? So I'm using this deck, Tarot Illuminati. And the deck consists of 7 cards. Each card represents a planet affecting us in a certain way, okay? So for our first card, it's going to be placed here, and that's Saturn. Then we have Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Moon, and Sun. Okay? Alright. Let's get on into it, Pisces. So we're starting out with a reversed alchemist. The way I read the cards with this deck particularly is reversed cards are taking on an inward state, okay? The Alchemist is actually my favorite card. It's, to me, when I see the Alchemist, it represents the law of attraction and The Secret. I don't know if you've ever read the book The Secret, but it is learning to mind our mind and care for our thoughts as they are constantly creating and helping to create our reality. Okay? And so then we could have total chaos around us and become the alchemist and still create our own bliss with the story we tell ourselves in our head, basically. I know that sounds kind of weird, like if you're not used to thinking that way, but if you pay attention to your mind, you're always telling yourself a story. Most people just think they're figuring out the problems in front of them, but in reality what you're doing is you're suggesting with your worrisome thoughts that a bad outcome could come. Like, I'll just give something really basic, right? Like, man, I need to save this 25 bucks. I don't know. No. What can I say that will pertain? I don't know. Let's just say, like, for a rainy day, because, I could get a flat tire, or 50 bucks, whatever, because that wouldn't be enough. I could get a flat tire, and we're just trying to plan and live responsibly and that kind of thing, which we have to do. But if you're constantly thinking, like, ahead and planning and all of that in a lack-type mentality versus something like, same scenario, awesome, I have 50 bucks I'm going to put aside because, which is great, so that I have everything I need when stuff happens, right? Like, so that's the way you can begin to change your thoughts and your energy. So, what was it at first? Like, man, I better save this $50 because I might have a flat tire. Sweet. I've got 50 bucks. that I'll be able to spend on my needs or something like that. You know, just a more upbeat, positive way to look at things. That probably is not the best example, but that's like alchemy, you know? Like, that's how it starts. You start like paying attention to how you think, you know, and what you think and what's going on in your head. And most people don't know. They're just fucking playing whatever's, you know, been playing, because our brain does do patterns. Anywho, sorry. I tend to get a little chatty. So the Alchemist, and it was reversed, and Saturn in this position of the first card in this planetary spread, Saturn is showing us karmic return, endings, and time. The issue approached from the perspective of the inevitable, big theme. So it's what is ending in your life. Okay? So maybe you've had to be the alchemist, and maybe you can now enjoy your manifestation. The alchemist is also manifesting. So it's not just changing the energy in the moment, which it does, but it's not just that. You are putting out to the universe what you would like in return. You're being the magician. So very cool. But let me read you the Alchemist. That is my take on the Alchemist. Let's see what it says for La Alchemist. The Alchemist. The Alchemist. The instigation of transformation. Instigating big changes, having all the resources necessary, knowing how to manipulate and control a situation, the spiritual and mundane world reflecting each other, okay? So let's not think, just for a moment, let's go back to my analogy, let's not think so much about spiritual as in God and holiness and divineness, which it is, but let's also realize that spirituality is unseen, right? And so then our thoughts or our dreams are the unseen world as well. They could represent the spiritual world as well, as they are sending out like as a radar. I'm really sorry. I'm kind of tired. I think it's like, I don't know, I'm just feeling kind of like, I think we're on the last degree of Pisces, Moon in Pisces. So, yay, you Pisces are on the last degree of Moon in Pisces. But, anyway, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so what was I saying? So yeah, so our thoughts are unseen, and that can also represent like the spiritual side of things. And so we're putting out, just as a radar is put out that we cannot see. We can't see the radars that, you know, are shooting Wi-Fi signals and that sort of thing, right? And then they're getting something in return. And that is the way of our energy, which our thoughts do have energy. I'm really sorry if my eyes bother me. I think I smeared some of my mascara from earlier. So it would be, then that is how the spiritual and mundane world are reflecting each other. Our thoughts are manifesting what the universe sends us back. So, if you, this is one thing that I say, like, every person should test. Test it. I've done it. Write in a journal. Fucking forget about the journal. I've done that. And I've picked it up a year later, written in it, you know, tried to manifest something written in it specifically where I'd like to live. Found the journal when I was living in that place I described. True story. And it's crazy because I know I have this power. And I'm like, what the fuck are you not manifesting more? You know this works. But anyways, okay, let me keep going. Channeling the divine intention, energy, will, and resources focused to one goal, primal urge, initial plans, and actions. Okay, so this is part of your Saturn in this reading of Uranus transiting Taurus. So this is part of what's ending, this kind of theme in your life. This is part of a karmic change and timing that is passing through. Okay. Let's move on to card 2. It's representing Mars, Saturn, and then we go to Mars, I believe. Let's see. Let me pull up the planetary spread. Yes, it's Mars. It's what is in conflict or imbalance in your life. Force and aggression, ambition and competition. From the perspective of the inevitable, big themes. We've got the Lover's card reversed. And so with this being reversed, it's felt more inward. And the Lover's card in this reading is what is in imbalance or conflict, okay? So relationships may be taking a bit of a hit. The Lover's card itself is yearning for reunion. It's love seeking union with another person or with the divine. It's yearning, being two parts of the same whole, finding your other half, passion, separation leading to yearning, recognizing divine origin, a strong connection between people, opposites uniting. Okay, so that is an imbalance. Love and passion, a connection, a divine connection, a strong connection. That's somehow in an imbalance during these 7 years, or at some point during this course it could be, right? And it's just providing you guidance as to maybe try to keep the balance. Okay. What are you doing, Sandy? And then we've got Venus, which is representing the 3rd card, which is representing love, beauty, and harmony. Sorry, my dog's going a little crazy over there. And union. It's the issue approached from the perspective of bringing about peace, harmony, or inspiration. Your emotional world and relationships. And that is our 3rd card. We have a reverse 9 of Wands. Reversed again with this deck in this reading, taking on an inward state. 9 of Wands. Wands are said to represent the mind and ideas. 9, I believe in numerology, is the means completion. Okay, so the 9 of Wands is the strength of will. The wounded warrior, perseverance, strength of will, never giving up, fighting despite loss or injury, fighting a losing battle, conserving your energy for the opportune moment, giving no respite or let it, being in the eye of the storm, out of the frying pan into the fire. The strength of will, wounded warrior. And this is in your area of love, beauty, and harmony. Your emotional world. The wounded warrior. Your emotional world and relationships. The strength of will. Okay. So you need to keep that in mind during this 7-year transit of your relationships to know when you want to tap into the strength. Do you have the will to persevere? Will you be more of a wounded warrior if you do? So yeah, you guys can refer back to this reading since it's such a long transit. Wow. And then we get the 10 of Cups. This is going to be in your area of mind and intellect. It's going to be in the area of Mercury. Okay, so we're coming from the relationship part looking like it's fighting a losing battle, not looking so great. Do you have the strength to keep going with that? And then We get to the Mercury position, the mind and intellect, word and wit, the issue approach from the perspective of reason, your intellectual world and thoughts. So the Ten of Cups. Sorry. Ten of Cups is the happily ever after. So, your intellectual world and thoughts, issue approach from the perspective of reason. Happily ever after. The happy ending, true joy and bliss. Emotional connection with others, contentment and peace, inner understanding. Spiritual awareness, depth of emotional wisdom. Happy marriage and relationship. Perfection in life. So, you know, there's some drastic differences here, right? And, you know, Uranus is like that. Uranus is sending very quick, shocking, unpredictable things in a very stable, practical, mundane area of life. Okay? Taurus. So, in an instant, you could literally have it all, right? So, yeah. Moving on to the fifth card in this reading, being Jupiter. That is growth and expansion, action and friendship. The issue approach from the perspective of the social world. Or your actions and outward being, your goals. Oh my God, sorry. Alright, so let's see what we got. Ooh. We've got the Three of Swords. This is what you're being asked to grow in. Okay. Three of Swords. The existential sorrowing. It's sorrow, existential suffering, anguish at the suffering in the world. Okay. So with the Ten of Cups, part of what it was describing, sorry, let me fix this, was happy life, happily ever after, perfection in life, relationship, but it also mentioned, which is great and beautiful, sorry, but it also mentioned spiritual awakening. And when that happens, when you have a spiritual awakening, you do see the pain in the world, you know. You have to then, like, you just see everything different. You see everything for what it is. You realize your choices and how they have affected your personal life and what you're contributing to the world as a whole. You know, are you playing your part, and what are you causing? What kind of pain have you been causing? Or how can you contribute to the world in a better way, you know? So, seeing the pain of others, anguish at the suffering in the world, seeing the pain of others, realization of pain in life, grief and suffering, offering healing and redemption, its harsh truths, truth that hurts, the aching heart. Okay? That's how you're being asked to grow. So, with healing, as this is wanting you to grow, and this is the card you got in that area, with healing, you have to go back to the pain. And the more you go back there and try to understand it, just set out a few minutes a day or whatever, try to understand it, come to a point of understanding it, forgive everyone in the situation, and wish it away with love. And then give yourself forgiveness. Give yourself the love. You then grow and heal yourself from pains. And I think that this is what this card is saying in this area of growth and expansion, you need to go ahead and take a deep look at the suffering in the world, at the suffering in your own life, and use it to allow it to grow and evolve and expand your soul. And then we move on to, wow, the Ace of Wands. So much drasticness in this reading. It's like the duality of Pisces or something. It's great. I'm glad you're getting balance, right? And that is the way of life. It's the thrust and lust of life. I'm sorry, so it's in the position of the moon. And so the position of the moon is, in this reading, is your inner world. And it's facing things, what is it, coming from intuition. It's receptivity and intuition, dreams and rhythms. The issue approached from the perspective of intuition. It's your inner world. Okay. And then the card itself is inspiration. The divine spark, the most primal of energies and expressions. Passion, drive, and ambition. The will directed towards a goal, pure intent. It's sexual desire, the thrust of life, excitement. Raising of passion and energy. Beginnings of a project or a business. Stirrings of desire. There are really a lot going on with you guys. So much great, strong stuff. I mean, you have the Lover's card reversed in the area of Mars, which was the conflict or imbalance for this particular reading. You have the Alchemist, which is key in manifesting the life you want. But that's kind of a lesson that you're just taught and leaving. You should be able to be manifesting now, which is showing in that you have the Lover's card. You have the Ten of Cups, saying the happily ever after, and spiritual awakening, happy marriage, beautiful life. And you have here the Ace of Wands, which is inspiration, divine spark, right? Raising of passion and energies, beginnings of a new project. Okay. And then we have this in the area of expansion and evolution. We have this painful card. Let me bring up again. Opposite sword. Sorrow, suffering for the world, right. And then we've got the Nine of Wands. How long have I been on here already? Oh my god, I got it in the video. Sorry, I don't have a lot of space. Let me go ahead and go to the Wands real quick. I want to read this one more time. Nine of Wands. The strength of will. Oh yeah, never giving up. The wounded warrior. So it's almost like you've got this soulmate love, this divine love, and it could be love of the world. It could be like light worker stuff. With the Three of Swords here, the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Lover's card, the Alchemist, the Nine of Wands, not giving up on your soul's mission. And then we've got the Seven of Swords as in the Sun position, which is the center and vitality. The main focus at this point in life for this reading. So for Uranus and Taurus. Let me get to this real quick before we lose space on my phone. The cunning of the shadows. Stealth and deception, manipulation and politics, discarding honor and necessity. Thievery and betrayal. Acting in the shadows, being dishonest, exposing dishonesty in others. Cunning and guile, using tricks to get answers. Be careful, Pisces, during Uranus and Taurus. You don't want to reap that. Don't be conned in the shadows. for the necessities. God will provide as you're on this mission. And don't be the one cutting others. I mean, that's bad karma. Live free and beautiful and clean and clear and pure. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed your reading. That's your Uranus and Taurus. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. See you soon. Peace.